Welcome to ESA TV, your source for the latest news, updates, and trends from leaders of the energy storage industry. In this jam-packed episode, we'll discuss big news from the U.S. Energy Storage Association, as well as touch base with energy storage industry leaders, Duke Energy, Black & Veatch, and Sungrow. To get us started, let's meet with the interim CEO of ESA, Jason Berwin. Jason, thanks for joining us today.
Absolutely. Always a pleasure.
ESA Con 21 is coming up soon. What are you excited about?
Well, we have a fantastic lineup of speakers. I'm really excited for our keynotes in particular. On day one, we're going to have a keynote dialogue between two of the most forward-thinking grid operators in the world, Elliot Mainzer, the head of the California Independent System Operator, in conversation with Audrey Zibelman, now at X, the Moonshot Factory, but of course also previously the grid operator in Australia. So I'm very excited to have them both in a discussion of how we see the grid evolving over the future. Then on day two, I'm really looking forward to paying a tribute to many of the folks who have been in this industry and in different parts of this industry for a long time. Chris Shelton, president of AES Next and chief product officer for AES Corp, will be talking to us about what he has learned from starting up what was AES Energy Storage and Fluence now, and what that has meant as he's gone into the larger world of power sector business development. And also, we'll be following that with a keynote dialogue that includes folks like Carla Peterman, now a executive vice president at Pacific Gas and Electric, and former California regulator who oversaw the first storage target, Judith Judson, a vice president of strategy for National Grid, and herself a former regulator, having overseen Massachusetts storage target development, as well as being a part of the original Beacon team back when Order 755 was done. And Matteo Jaramillo, now the CEO of Form Energy, working a long duration, but having, of course, been the charge behind Tesla's battery energy storage business previously. And so I'm really excited to bring these folks into a conversation all together about the future of sort of the business model. And then on the last day, day three, be pleased to have a keynote dialogue between Kurt Morgan, CEO of Vistra, and Gary Hujevin, CEO of Rocky Mountain Power, who will be talking with me about what their perspective is on the transition of retiring fuel-based generators and replacing them with energy storage in a portfolio with renewables and other resources, really a sort of portend of things to come at the highest level. And we'll also have a speech from Heather Zeichel, the CEO of the American Clean Power Association. I should note that this is going to be a very special ESA Con across all of our content and all of our gatherings, because as many folks know, this will also be the last ESA Con under ESA's banner, given the merger that we are executing into the American Clean Power Association.
It definitely sounds like an exciting event that industry professionals will not want to miss. So can you tell us a little bit more about the news regarding ESA's merger with the American Clean Power Association?
Sure thing. So the boards of our organizations and the membership of the Energy Storage Association have approved a merger effective January 1st of 2022 for ESA to merge into and with the American Clean Power Association. We've decided that the business prospects of the energy storage industry and the renewables industry are increasingly intertwined, and it makes most sense to bring our voices together under one roof, because we will rise faster together. And I'm eager to see a much more accelerated growth path for our industry, complemented by an accelerated growth path for the resources to support our members in policy advocacy, in stakeholder and member education, and of course, networking opportunities. So looking forward to more on that, but also I do want to note, this is part of why I think if you're on the fence, get to ESA Con 21 in Phoenix, December 1st through 3rd with us and have one last hurrah with ESA.
Jason, thank you for joining us and sharing news on ESA Con 21 and the merger with ACP.
Thank you, and see you in Phoenix.
Duke Energy is one of the largest electric power holding companies in the U.S. and also owns and operates diverse power generation assets. Today, we're happy to speak with Jonathan Landy, Director of Energy Storage Development at Duke Energy. Jonathan, welcome to ESA TV.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
What is your vision for energy storage over the next decade?
So there's really multiple driving forces that are happening today, and we expect these will only amplify over the next decade. Electrification, and the biggest example is transportation electrification and the increase of EV adoption. The next is our retiring fossil fleet and the transition to a cleaner energy future. Customers nowadays also have more and more choice and control over their energy usage. And so each of these driving forces has its own challenge, but currently they're happening simultaneously, which intensifies the need for action and importantly intensifies the need for energy storage as a resource to balance supply and demand. So I see storage as a key component of the clean energy transition and how companies like Duke Energy plans to serve its customers now and into the future.
In the pursuit of the goal of 100 gigawatts by 2030, what will contribute the most to achieving this goal, whether it's policy or technology advancements or something else? And what are the biggest impediments?
Great. So as costs continue to decline, we've seen a major increase in demand for energy storage, especially from utilities. And at Duke Energy, we have plans to invest roughly $600 million in storage over the next several years. And that will not only enable more renewable energy, but also address grid resiliency, grid hardening, and other local distribution needs. We're seeing storage selected in integrated resource plans across the country, and we expect those numbers to grow as grid planners become more familiar and comfortable with storage technologies. It'll be very important for us to advocate for policies and to support technology developments that promote safe, reliable, and cost-effective storage projects that can be deployed in a timely fashion. And ignoring these key areas and their impacts on the industry could be impediments as we pursue our goals.
What types of storage technologies do you expect will be deployed?
So at Duke Energy, we have a commitment to reducing carbon emissions from our 2005 levels by 50% in 2030 and reaching net zero by 2050. We feel like we can accomplish our 2030 goals by closing more coal plants, building more renewable energy, and investing in existing battery storage technologies that are available today, like lithium ion. But when we get beyond the 50% emissions reduction and introduce a significant amount of intermittent resources like renewables, we begin to look for technologies that really don't exist today. Zero emitting, load following resources like long duration storage will be critically important. And we'll be looking at different types of battery chemistries like metal air, flow batteries, as well as mechanical and thermal storage technologies. So this is going to require us to make additional investments in research and development and work with national labs and other institutions across the industry so these emerging technologies are available commercially when needed.
How do customers play a role as you deploy more storage?
So our customers are really at the center of our plans for storage. I mentioned some of the driving forces earlier that are changing our industry and how the grid will be managed. I see storage essentially as a part of a suite of systems and customer solutions that will support the transition towards a green-enabled grid. These other systems I mentioned include renewable energy, electric vehicles, demand-side management capabilities, and other offerings that are connected through fiber, telecom, advanced metering, and bidirectional controls. All these systems working together will provide the backbone of an integrated grid. And as we look at opportunities to deploy more storage, it'll be increasingly important for us to consider those other systems as well as we plan for them in a way that maximizes value for our grid and for our customers.
What is your favorite part about working in the storage industry?
The friendships, the relationships I've built within my company and with our customers and suppliers, and the experiences and lessons learned that we've all shared together. These are all really extremely important to me. We have a big responsibility as an industry to transition to a clean energy future. And that's going to require all of us working together in the storage space and working as one.
Well said. Definitely a lot to look forward to for the future of energy storage. Jonathan, thank you so much for speaking with us today.
Thanks for having me. Have a great day.
Black & Veatch is an employee-owned engineering, procurement, consulting, and construction company with a 100-year legacy of innovation in sustainable infrastructure. Today, we're happy to speak with Brent Berger, Senior Vice President Director of Global Battery Energy Storage at Black & Veatch. Welcome to ESA TV, Brent. Thanks so much for joining us.
Glad to be here.
What is your vision for energy storage over the next decade?
Well, really, energy storage is really at an exciting time here. Really, it's growth. And there's really a growth in a number of areas. The number of storage installations, the size of the storage, and really the storage duration. Long duration storage, we used to say it's down around the corner, but really that corner is more quickly approaching. So storage durations are getting longer and longer. There's also more and more battery energy storage applications needed to stabilize the grid due to a large amount of variable renewable energy installations. The price of battery continues to go down and down. Today it's below $200 a kilowatt hour for the battery modules, and that continues to go down, really resulting in the economic viability of these projects. And when I talk about growth, it was kind of steady growth, but now it's exponential growth. Really, fourth quarter of 2020, there was more battery installations in one quarter than there was the previous 10 years. So growth is really the direction of energy storage.
In the pursuit of the goal of 100 gigawatts by 2030, what will contribute the most to achieving this goal, whether it's policy or technology advancements or something else? And what are the biggest impediments?
So some things that are really going to drive the growth here is continued price design of the battery modules and really driving it below the $100 per kilowatt hour. And really the increased applications and economic viability of these projects being applied to different areas in the energy stream. There also is some future price declines in the power conversion equipment and auxiliary equipment, as part of the battery energy solution. Also, national and local regulations continue to evolve and incentivize companies to invest in battery energy storage, which will really drive the growth as well. A few things that can impede the growth is the main one is supply chain variability. There's original equipment, there's commodity pricing and availability, as well as shipping volatility right now. So these things are really affecting materials getting to the shops, but also the finished product being shipped to the job sites. So supply chain is probably the biggest variability on cost certainty on these projects and really the timeliness of delivery of equipment. The other thing would be construction craft labor. There is a general shortage of craft labor in the US, and the labor intensive renewable projects is affected by that as well. So really securing supply chain and securing a construction solution are really important to the viability of these projects moving forward.
What are some of the biggest trends that Black & Veatch is seeing in the industry?
Well, one of the main trends is the improvement on the safety features of the battery energy storage equipment. So whether it's gas detection or deflagration venting or adjacent deluge fire suppression, those are big things that are evolving in the industry to make this the safest installation as we can. The other big shift is from containerized battery solutions where you load the batteries in the field, more of a shift to smaller cabinets that already have the batteries preloaded and you hook them up in the field. It reduces the amount of construction labor and puts the assembly in the shops. Now it's kind of evolving from the small cabinets to medium shippable preloaded containers. Get as many batteries in a container that is still shippable. So that's a big shift there. But also increased applications. Solar hybrid is really coming around fast, and many of the solar installations is going to include a battery component or will be added later, and that can be either DC coupled or AC coupled. Battery solutions are applied to transmission assets now more and more. So those are smaller projects, but a lot of opportunities in the transmission side. The other thing is the long duration battery storage. Again, it's around the corner, but that corner is rapidly approaching as the value of longer duration storage becomes more economically viable, and owners are investing in those things. And there's a lot of battery suppliers and different technologies that are coming forward, to enter that space. There's also traditional energy storage opportunities out there as well, outside of batteries. So a lot of opportunities in increased application, and to get more and more out of the energy than on the battery storage side.
What is Black & Veatch's experience and approach to the safety of their battery solutions?
So we are hand in hand with NFPA on their safety codes and actually the writing of the codes, and really compliance with the codes and the insurance entity requirements is really first and foremost in our battery solutions. We utilize the best available technology in the market based on our lessons learned, which a lot of times are ahead of the code requirements. So a lot of lessons learned on projects around the world get filtered back into the actual codes. So safety is the most important thing on these projects, and we want to be ahead of the game and not reactive.
If you could, please tell us what benefits and advantages Black & Veatch's battery energy storage solutions offers to clients.
Well, as you said, Black & Veatch is a full-service company. We've been involved in global power industry for over 100 years. We offer services with upfront services with developers or owners, providing engineering services really to help the client navigate the battery energy storage application space. We also do EPC, small EPC to large EPC, and we really try to bring the best fit integrated battery solution to the client. And we can either bring the batteries ourselves, or we can install a client supplied battery solution and just perform a balance of plant EPC project.
A lot of great energy storage information. Thank you, Brent, so much for sharing your insights.
Well, it's great to be here. Thank you for having me.
Sungrow is a worldwide leader in solar innovation and energy storage. They offer a wide range of solutions and services with a goal of providing clean power for all.
This year, they reached a milestone of supplying 20 gigawatts worth of projects with just under 3 gigawatts of ESS. Their accomplishments move us closer to the global net zero initiatives.
We have one mission at Sungrow Americas, transitioning the world to cleaner and greener energy solutions. Our team is proud to have reached 20 gigawatts of clean power deployed across North, Central, and South America. One small step towards achieving clean power for all.
Joining us now is Naveed Hassan, Director of External Affairs for Sungrow. Naveed, thanks so much for paying us a visit.
Thank you so much, Kara, for inviting me to participate.
To start off, why has Sungrow had so much success in providing clean energy solutions?
It's a very multifaceted answer, but I'll try to keep it short. I think one very unique factor that Sungrow has in comparison to other companies that stands us out is the fact that our founder and chairman is actually from academia. He's a professor at a very reputed university. And he was considered a pioneer in power conversion technology. So I believe that really his leadership has bred an environment for innovation and open-mindedness, the willingness to learn from mistakes, and continuous improvement. That has really, resulted in a product portfolio that is really relevant for each market that we're entering. So part of our strategy is really to, before entering a new market internationally, to do deep research, to interview customers or potential customers at that stage, but really interview potential clients and contractors, installers, and really see what their pain points are facing and seeing really what sort of technology they're looking for. And we design the technology that way. So in reality, we're not bringing products to a market and having to really sell them too hard, in the sense because it's already what the market is looking for. So I believe that is why we have pretty immense success, and it happens pretty fast whenever we enter a new market.
What do you see as the next big step in achieving clean power for all?
I think the next big step really was not coming from manufacturer side or from any of the developer contractor side. I believe we're all ready to deploy clean power for all. It's really, we're looking forward to governments around the world taking initiative to introduce policies that are driving renewable energy and to implement them quickly and seriously, because we are facing a global crisis right now in terms of climate change. As you saw, there was a UN report released a few months ago that basically indicated we are in even a worse situation than was originally anticipated. So I believe it's really high time that governments around the world start introducing policies that are pro-renewable, start opening the markets up and deregulating so we can bring in technology in a free market, and basically creating an environment that is pro-renewable. I would have to say that there's no perfect market right now, no perfect policy in any government right now. There's challenges everywhere, but I think it's time for leaders around the world to come together and figure out how we're going to do this and do this fast. But we're ready. We're ready to ramp up, and we've already started the process of ramping up our manufacturing. We've opened a new facility in Thailand to support the increased demand, about 5 gigawatts of production capacity, and that will be supporting the North American market. But there's a long way to go before there's clean power for all, and I believe it's really on the government end.
Thank you for sharing news on all the developments and progress being made. We definitely look forward to seeing what the future will bring.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for watching this episode of ESA TV. We'll see you in Phoenix for ESA Con 21, December 1st through 3rd.